WHAM song.
And
so you made that
Chang, not Wham.
We were looking for that, and that popped up.
Oh,
What's going on, internet?
WH, yeah, it's the same search. Hey, everybody, what's going on? We have Brad and Gary in the pre-show. Welcome.
Hey.
Hola.
You'll be seeing them again and later in the main show as well.
Oh, I got to give him 60.
Oh, Rob got the cool hat, of course. Rob
Hey, you remind me of what's his name? The guy who used to do the 7-Up ads because he had that white fedora hat.
I thought you were going to say the babe with the power.
Pharrell? It was more like a...
No, the guy used
like
to
a
say
Panama hat.
7-Up had no caffeine, never had it, never will. Remember, it was like his big catchphrase.
I remember that tagline, but I don't remember the guy's hat.
Yeah, me either.
I remember the guy with the cola nuts.
We all have a colon, I hope.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hope so.
cola nuts.
Oh,
my
cola.
daughter's
Oh, that was
I
light.
was gonna say,
Some of ours work better than others. Apparently.
I was one of the test markets for like soda. I didn't realize that. I came home from school one day. There was 2 like glass bottles, not like a 16, not like what they give today, but like it was shorter and squatter,
Not
and
like
it was
what
sitting on my
kids
door.
these days have.
But it was sitting on my door. It's like, what is this? And I noticed that all the neighborhoods all had the same thing. It was wrapped in a little plastic, and they said, like, please enjoy, and then if you write back what you think about it. And it was like soda. It was a
It was called
non-caffeinated
like soda?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like-
you don't remember like?
You don't remember like?
No.
It was the
Yeah,
non-caffeinated cola. It was made by 7-Up.
I did not know. I missed that train.
It was not very long-lived.
No,
Things
it
you
was
can't
not.
do anymore.
It was not a long train. It's not a surprise you missed it.
I think
Like
apparently
new-
people didn't
old-
like it as much.
Like New Coke?
Colas.
Yes.
I
And
remember.
then they moved
I
back
remember
to the
that
old
whole
one.
thing. I wasn't allowed to drink soda, so like they were.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't gonna get
that'll
any
The
soda.
definitely keep you away
monastery
from
had
it.
very strict rules about fizzy beverages.
I do remember. I don't know if Shasta is still around.
Yes.
It is.
I wanna
But it-
pop.
Thank you, Jason.
Shasta,
But I
Only
yeah, it was
fizzy
like
beverage I'm
I think
drinking
I was
these
like in
days.
kindergarten or something, and it was just a very popular song, and I was just like, I'll just do
Right.
anything for a Shasta, and my mom's like, no, it'll rot your teeth.
My classmate in Catholic school, she's like, yeah, we went up to Shasta like for the holidays. It's like,
You were like
wait,
to the Cola Kingdom.
like to the no to the mountain where you go skiing.
I know, but I was saying like I.
Well, no, that's what I was saying. No, that's what he said to me. It's like, what, you went to like the factory to see where they make it? It's like, no.
It's just a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out when they discontinued like cola, but everything just says it was introduced in 1982.
I don't even remember that one.
So maybe it's
It's
still
made
around.
from the
We
real
just don't
cola
know.
nut.
It made from the cola.
It's what
nut.
plants crave, Jason.
It's just a weird name.
They sponsored a NASCAR
Apparently so.
Winston Cup Series in 1983. I mean,
You got to
obviously
like this
Winston
race
was
to
major.
win.
Well, because it's like cola, or it's cola that you like. I guess both are supposed to. Make
All I know,
sense.
it was made
Whatever
from a real
works.
cola nut.
Whatever
I don't
gets
know what
you to
that
buy
meant.
Whatever makes you
I
want
don't know what a cola nut is.
take the wallet out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember a commercial by a guy with a thick, I think, Jamaican accent, laughing about his cola nuts. So
The Soda Wiki, which specializes in soda entries, claims that Like Cola was last advertised in 1996.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And lasted
Okay.
longer than
Wow.
Jolt.
Survived
They gave it a
for a
good
while.
Yeah.
solid try.
That's
Got to go
interesting.
through all
they
those
lasted
bottles
longer
they
than
printed out.
Surge.
This
I
this
also
wiki
don't-
also says that similar flavors include Coca-Cola, Pepsi, RC Cola, and Spur Cola.
Don't remember
I haven't
Spur.
heard that one.
Me either. From 1948.
What was?
So then it
I re-
lasted longer than Crystal Coke.
It
Wasn't
did.
Crystal?
You're
No,
right.
Crystal Pepsi. Crystal
Crystal
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
There we go.
Those Crystal
That-
Pepsi.
remember
that
they
was
used it-
clear.
They use that Van Halen song right now, and
Pepsi
it's so
Clear.
annoying. So every time I hear that song, I think of the ad.
Well, the song
But the
itself
best
is
Saturday Night
fine.
Live skit.
No, I know, but you associate. It's just like Toyota used that one song, like Everyday People, and now every time I hear that song, I think of a
You
Toyota
just think
ad.
of a commercial. Yeah.
Which
No.
reminds
Really?
me, I need to wish everyone a happy Honda Days.
Thank you.
Thank
Yay.
you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
As a former
to
Honda
those-
owner,
to
I
those who
appreciate
celebrate.
this.
It's raining keys, everyone.
Not Kias, keys.
Ow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if it starts up a new
Too
car,
many
I'm on
keys
it.
coming from the sky. It's dangerous.
Hurts.
I was
But
going
did
to
you
say, I
guys
don't
ever
get
see
invited to
the-
those kinds of parties. But anyway.
I was explaining to Brad, or no, I was explaining to Gary as I was coming back down 99 from Northern California, right at the Grapevine in Bakersfield. I encountered a giant brown wall of dust because the winds were so high. It's like, really, I can't even. Like you couldn't see through it. It's like, oh, this is great. I should probably slow down.
That's
And
where
then
my
someone-
dog was born, Bakersfield.
Good idea.
And then someone blew by me at 90. So it's like, they must have
I
good
prefer
insurance.
99 to the 5. Takes a little longer, but it's
Not
more
really, though.
interesting.
Not really.
Californians. we always end up.
It's
here
always
in our-
about. It's always
Listen,
about.
I can't help it.
The
It's just
99.
who we are. I know.
No,
I know.
no.
It's
The-
just
you
what
know-
I do.
The advantage of 99 over the 5, Costco's, and that's where I get my cheap gas as
Well,
I
yes,
go down.
there are just
Yeah, well-
more interesting places to stop off if you need to stop off.
Fresno, Merced, Tulare.
No, I just mean
Oh.
like
Weed.
on the 5. It's like I don't know.
Atwater?
I just eat it.
The Castle Air Force Base Museum.
What's
there-
the? I forget.
Is there one called Oil Patch or something like that? A town?
That
There's a
sounds
lot of
familiar.
oil patches. Yeah, I was big.
That
But
Well,
is there
there's a
an
lot of
exit
oil
that's
that's.
called Oil Patch?
There's a Buck Owens Boulevard or something.
Yeah, Bakersfield. Buck Owens Museum, I think, even.
Oh, and
There's a
there
town-
was, I finally found the Merle Haggard off ramp. So
Well,
it's
it's
good.
He's from
Have you been looking
Oklahoma.
for it for a while?
But he made his thing in Bakersfield, like his name in Bakersfield.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah. He
Yeah,
walked
I-
the streets of Bakersfield with Buck.
Mama tried.
I mean, as
The
many
song
times
Stuck
as
in
I've
Lodi?
been,
I've been in
Yes.
Lodi. I don't wanna be
adjacent
stuck in
to
Lodi.
Bakersfield or Fresno.
Yeah, well,
Two
CCR,
cities I
they were
don't
from the
know.
East Bay. I didn't realize that.
Welcome, Amos. Happy Honda Days. Sure.
Creedence Clearwater
Come on,
Revival
Amos.
is from the East Bay.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice,
Gosh,
nice
I
to
thought
see
they
you,
were
Amos.
from like.
Why else would they have a
Mississippi or
song called
something.
Lodi? Come on.
Yeah. Stuck in Lodi again.
I never thought about it.
Yeah.
Listen, if I were stuck in Lodi, I would want to go scream into Stockton, which tells you something.
Lodi's not that bad.
It's fine. Yeah. I got
Sure.
no problems with Lodi.
It's near the Manteca water slides.
prefer High Dive more.
Manteca, right next to the RV and in a town named after lard. Manteca.
So there's a Lodi, Ohio,
Is there?
and it is basically what is in between here and there.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of
I think there's a
Lodi's everywhere.
gas station.
Yeah.
All right, Gary,
All
Brad,
respect to people from
I'm
Lodi's
going to put
across
you in the
the
back.
world.
Okay.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Don't go
See you in a
anywhere.
bit.
We'll have you out on real short.
Have a good show, everybody.
This is the Daily Tech News Show for Wednesday, December 24th, 2025. Happy Boxing Day, everybody.
Why does it say Happy Boxing Day?
I don't know. I'm just reading, but was it? Oh, no.
Happy almost Boxing Day.
Merry Christmas Eve.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Can we start that over, please? I did
Live
not write
viewers.
that for the record.
I am Ron Burgundy.
Isn't Boxing Day the 26th?
Yes,
Yeah.
we
Yes.
must have copied the gift support show template over and missed that.
Yeah.
Apologies, Sarah.
That's fine.
Take two.
You know, I like to be the butt of a joke. This is the Daily Tech News Show for Wednesday, December 24th, 2025. Merry Christmas Eve to those who celebrate. We're going to tell you what you need to know, give you the important context, and help all of us understand it a little bit better. Welcome to our last show of the year, last live show. From Studio Animal House, I'm Sarah Lane.
In Studio 7 in Los Angeles, I'm Tom Merritt.
From Columbus, Ohio, I'm Robb Dunewood.
In whatever this room is called in Petaluma, I'm Jason Howell.
I'm the sub producer today, Anthony Lemos, aka Amos. I know.
And under soggy SoCal skies, I am the producer, Roger Chang.
And you are joining us too. Thanks to everybody who sent in their tech memories or wishes for today's show. We are looking forward to hearing everybody's contributions. We have a little bit of news first. It is our, last regular show of the year. Then we're going to each share a tech memory from holidays past, or some kind of tech we're getting excited about, in some cases both. But before we do that, thanks everybody for gathering one last time for our last live show of the year. This is great. Yay.
Yes, it's good to hang out with everybody.
It's
Well,
great.
speak for yourself, Rob.
Apparently.
I didn't want to speak for anybody, but I just hey, I'm having a good time.
No, it's great.
You
Hey,
got your
I got
party
a
hat on. Of course you are.
I'm happy if I'm wearing a hat. So you have to go pull out
Nah,
pull out the biggest, widest brim fedora that was close to me.
We do so many shows throughout the year. So when we kind of not break character, but break format for some of our holiday episodes, it's really fun. It's like we're just winging it. We're just being ourselves.
Yeah.
We've got special guests coming up as well, both recorded and live. So stick around for that. Everybody ready to get to the briefs?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Samsung announced details for several gaming monitors ahead of showing them at CES. Getting the most attention is the Odyssey 3D, which has, as the name implies, glasses-free 3D, along with a 6K display and a 165 Hz refresh rate. But there's also the 27-inch Odyssey G6, bringing a world-first 1040 Hz refresh rate, though that's in dual mode.
Yeah, so you don't get the 4K, or it's not a 6K screen. 6K, we're already to 6K monitors. Yay.
Still trying to make the 3D work. Apparently.
But you don't need glasses, so that's positive.
That's different. I'm curious to see it.
If it looks good, 1040 hertz. That's gotta look like looking out of a window. I would imagine. That's
smooth.
That's really smooth. So, Reuters sources say Nvidia stopped its test of Intel's 18A production process to make chips. Intel just opened its first mass production 18A line in its Fab 52 site in Arizona. And personally, I was rooting for Intel on this. They're building a big giant foundry in my backyard. I was hoping that this would be the thing, but when this announcement came out, their stock kind of tanked yesterday. So
yeah, it's gonna It was a good piece of news when we heard Nvidia might be testing using Intel Fab. It's a bad piece of news to hear that Nvidia might have stopped that testing, but you never know. Maybe this is just, we're going to stop that testing and then restart with something else. Maybe they learned something from it. Who knows?
I would say
trying to help.
I mean, honestly, all fabs are like this. Like there's a lot of stop and go. There's nothing that comes nothing comes out like a peanut butter jelly sandwich out the first time. Right, so.
The U.S. Department of State announced Tuesday it will deny entry to the United States for 5 Europeans because they worked with non-governmental organizations that pushed for regulations on tech companies. The U.S. Secretary of State said the 5 individuals pushed for what he called, quote, acts of extraterritorial censorship. The individuals include the CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate, 2 leaders of an anti-hate speech group called Hate Aid, the head of the Global Disinformation Index, and former EU Commissioner Terry Breton, who helped create the EU Digital Services Act. That's a ringing endorsement from
That's
everyone.
it.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you even say about this?
If you are confused, if you're like, wait, Europeans don't need a visa, it's being called denying a visa, but essentially it's saying we won't admit them to the country. And even if you don't need a visa to travel to the U.S., you have to do a digital registration ahead of time. And they probably would, that's how they would say these people are not allowed entry. So if they show up at customs, turn them away.
Well, following a widespread power outage in San Francisco just last week that actually caused stoplights to go out, overwhelmed Waymo cars' ability to even navigate the city. Waymo has issued an update to its fleet. It's pushed a software update to make the vehicles more aware of special circumstances like widespread outages like that, so that they can act more decisively if multiple stoplights are out at the same time. Waymo's previously might have asked for a confirmation check at unusual traffic instances like a dead stoplight. That was used as a measure to safeguard against incorrect assessment. The number of Waymos asking for confirmation in this case overwhelmed the system. That caused the temporary stoppage of most of the fleet of cars this weekend. So they basically were saying, like, you know, this was a cautionary thing that we had baked in when the scale of everything was much smaller. Now it's a much larger scale. We're going to go in, we're going to tweak this so this doesn't happen again. Remains to be seen if it won't happen again.
You know, I was thinking about this because Southern California, and pretty much all of California at this point, is experiencing some very extreme weather. I am going to a family member's house tomorrow, and I thought, you know what, instead of driving, maybe I just take a Waymo. But if there's some sort of outage when I'm away from home, how easy is it for me to get back? Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it did cross my mind.
Yeah, it's better today than it was a few days ago before they pushed the update, is what I would say. Like, this is the good news is, I think it's interesting, and I'm very glad they posted more details. I'd like even more details, but I'm glad they posted the details they did. And it was through them being extra cautious that caused this problem. They said most of the Waymos were actually getting through the dark stoplights, but some of them were falling back on this like, hey, something seems odd. We're going to check for confirmation, and that caused a spike of confirmations, and that was a DDoS on the system, essentially. And they realize now that the Waymos are good enough that they don't need to always check for confirmation. So what they're going to do is put in a system that says, if there is a widespread power outage, we'll let the Waymos take more action without having to call for confirmation. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, Tom, we kind of got our wish. We talked about this on Monday on Daily Tech News Show, and we hoped that they come out and tell us what happened, why it happened, and what they're doing to fix it. And they've done all of those things. We still want more information, but they didn't necessarily have to say anything. So that, you know, the fact that we actually got some news is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that said, Sarah, will you take a Waymo given all of that?
Well, I need to take my dog too, and we're not supposed to do that. And he will be a very wet dog by the time he gets in the Waymo, so I'll report back.
Okay, yeah. Let us know after the first of the year. All right, folks, those are the essentials for today. Let's dive into your holiday tech hopes and dreams.
So, Sarah, you get the honor of going first today. So tell us, what are you doing? Are you giving us a holiday memory or a holiday wish? What are you coming with?
I'm gonna go with memory. I don't do a lot of gift exchanges with family or friends at this point in my life. Not because we don't love each other. We just don't do it. So I have a lot of really fun memories of holiday gifts, and so mine today is harken back to 1992. And my parents, who were, we were a humble family. It wasn't like they could buy me a car or something like that. But they said, what would you like for Christmas? And I said, I want a video camera. And they were like, well, you're not going to get a video camera for Christmas. What else would you like? Maybe a nice sweater from the Gap, or, that kind of stuff. Like, what would you like in your stocking? A pair of earrings. And I was like, no, I want a video camera. Now, and Jason knows this because he and I talked about this not that long ago. I have been obsessed with recording since I was a baby, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Lots of audio, lots of cassette tapes. And we never, as a family, we never had the big old VHS camcorder that, the parent would have at the school play. We just never had one of those. And then technology started to get better. And so I was like, that's literally all I want. One thing. That's it. My dad was like, you're not going to get it. So please tell us something else that you want. He had already bought it. So this was like the fun surprise. This was the fun surprise. My dad was very good at that. So anyway, Christmas morning, open the box. It's the camcorder. It was the Sony Hi8 Camcorder. It was Christmas of 1992, and I was ecstatic. And he was like, I remember he was like, just so you know, this is not your camcorder. This is our camcorder. This is a camcorder that belongs to the family. It's not yours. We did not buy this for you. We bought it for us. And I was like, totally fine. Don't eat it every day. I was really the only one who ever used it. But yeah, I mean, I took it to school. I took it to like slumber party, dance
took it to
parties.
School?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The teachers would be like, Sarah, no more recording. And I just it was like, it wasn't like I was doing it in secret. I was just so excited to have it. And
Yeah, it wasn't like Google Glass. So they
Well,
could tell
I
you were
know.
filming.
No. It was
Like
it was
my-
never supposed to be like clandestine at all. It was like taking photos. It felt like that to me, but better. So that was, and I've gotten lots of wonderful presents over the years, but that was the big one because it was very unexpected.
True surprise.
True surprise, and it was not. I mean, the Handycam back in the day. I mean, there were others that were using Hi8 technology, but that was a cool camera. And my dad was very much a Sony man. I went onto eBay just to see what these are going for these days. Varies wildly. You can get something for sub $100. But it usually doesn't have, batteries and accessories, and it goes up to about $1,000. But they are definitely still being traded around.
Oh wow!
So for everybody who has that, kid who loves legacy tech, or just you do as well, that was a very, very fond holiday memory for me.
Funny thing about 1992, I was covering the 92 election for Channel 3 at the University of Illinois, and we just got our first Hi8 cameras for that coverage.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Exactly at the same time. Yeah.
Because at the time it was like, well, this is really leveling up from, what we had before. And you have longer recording time than a VHS. It's much smaller and more compact. Yeah, it was a great gift.
Whenever I had to run camera, I was very thankful if I got the Hi8 instead of one of the old 3/4 inch.
That was a big thing, right? Right around that time is when America's Funniest Home Videos was like a thing.
Oh, that's right.
And so everyone, like that was the new Polaroid photo, right? I'm going to submit my tape of my kids doing wacky or my husband falling off his hammock or something weird.
Yeah, that's what we called TikTok back then, kids.
I was going to say that was going viral back then.
Yep.
Was getting on America's Funniest Home Videos.
And it's the same format. You give us your content. If we use it, we'll give you some sort of like consolatory prize or
we'll
something.
Just say,
like,
Paul sent this.
Yeah, like here's your bag of rice-a-roni or something.
No, you got on TV. That was your payment.
That was the prize.
But that was the thing. It's like I was on TV. That was the thing back then.
Yes.
Like even if your foot was in the shot, you say that's my foot.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
I mean, but even going back, in earlier years, in my stocking, I'm not kidding. Like every year, it would be like, I'd get like 10 cassette tapes. Like in a wrapped, and I'd be like, yay! I mean, is that exciting for a lot of kids? I don't know. For me, it was like, I can do a lot of stuff with this.
Well, here's a cool
Before
thing
the
about
video
that.
camera days, it was like I would have my friends on speakerphone. Again, not secretly recording them, but we would be talking on the phone just like kids do. And I'd be like, okay, let's record. And then I would listen to these things later.
Yeah.
What were we even talking about? But it was so fun for me to be like, I have now a recording of this.
Well, this is why it's so cool and important to encourage your kids to be into the things that your kids are into. Because your parents probably say, she really likes these recorders.
Yeah.
Let's get her one. She really likes TV and camera stuff. Let's go ahead and get her one. And look what you're doing today, 30 plus years later.
Definitely tracks. Definitely tracks.
Definitely tracks.
For sure.
Definitely tracks.
Yeah, the value, you mentioned the value and how it's interesting, the wide range of value in eBay. And I can speak from personal experience in our family. My older daughter, she's almost 16. A couple of years ago, she finds in a drawer a little digital camera, just one of my random, like, I can't even remember what brand, Sony or something, a little thin digital camera from probably like 12 or 15 years ago. And she freaked out because she was like, oh my God, people are like, these are all over TikTok because they see that old legacy tech as like a different type of filter. It's like I can apply a filter inside of an app, or I can use that thing, which gives a very unique look to it that you can't get in an app.
That's the real thing. Yeah,
that's the real thing. And she loves that thing.
I don't need to fake the tracking across the screen. It's built into the camera.
Right? Yeah. It's just, you couldn't get rid of it, turns out.
All right, before we continue with more of our memories and wishes, let's hear a few of yours.
Hi, this is HitNRun Tony, longtime listener, first time caller. One of my favorite Christmas tech memories is when my older sister got me a Sony PSP. I didn't really think she had gotten me one, and I thought she had put like socks in the box or something, but I opened it up and there it was. That thing was like space age for me because you can play games on it, you can watch UMD movies on it, you can put digital copies of your movies, photos, MP3s, which I did. Like, we didn't even have Wi-Fi at the time, so I remember I wanted to update it to get the browser on it, and I was walking down the street and found the an open Wi-Fi signal that I was able to use to get it updated. We eventually did get Wi-Fi, and I was able to download games. I was able to browse the internet. I used that for so long, and will always treasure that as one of my favorite memories.
The great philosopher Douglas Adams wrote, "Anything that is in the world when you're born is natural and ordinary and is just a natural part of the way the world works. Anything that's invented between when you're 15 and 35 is new and exciting and revolutionary, and you could probably get a career in it. Anything invented after you're 35 is against the natural order of things." This most certainly was true for me. Born in the early 70s, I grew up just as computers started to become mainstream. I was presented with a TI-99 4A one Christmas, probably because my dad got it cheap as they went on clearance. The concept of the computer seemed natural to me, and I rode that as they became more widespread. Getting a job at Radio Shack when I was just 15 and learning to build, repair, and program computers gave me a great toolkit for my career. I eventually evolved into teaching others how to use computers and technology. Social media and certainly AI have come along later in my lifetime. These are clearly against the natural order of things and really should be abolished. A Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and pleasant holidays to the DTNS audience, and a gracious thank you to Tom, Sarah, and the rest of the DTNS family for keeping us entertained and informed these many years.
Greetings, DTNS crew, and happy holidays. I'm Kory K, long-time listener, first-time caller. For your co-host show, I wanted to mention a couple things. So I always get some sort of technology around Christmas time. That's who I am. But last year, I got a Tempest weather station. And after having tested and used many other weather stations, I find this one to be the best. It's low profile, not many moving parts. It's remote, so I can get it on my Amazon Echo or my cell phone. And it's pretty accurate. So I thought it was a good buy. And then for this year, I have decided to purchase myself a DJI Mini 4K drone. I've had many other drones before, but by the time I got around to using them, they were out of date and didn't work. So I'm going to give this the old college try and get this going this coming year. So happy holidays. Wish you all the best and a happy new year. Bye.
Good timing on the DJI purchase, too.
Yeah, no kidding. Got it there. Just a lick of time.
Well, thank you, Hit and Run Tony. Thank you, Brian O. Thank you, Kory K. All good stuff. Good stuff here.
I just ordered the Tempest weather station myself after
Did you really?
winds I've been
Oh, wow.
around for the last couple weeks.
I
After a lot
remember
of
getting
research, I finally decided, let's go ahead and go that one. So
I remember getting a Sony PSP I bought myself for the holidays.
Same.
And it was very impressive, impressive
was.
piece of machinery. I found it kind of annoying, though, that I had to buy these special UMD movies to watch movies when I could easily just take what I already had and transcode it onto a thumb, or not a thumb drive.
Yeah, what you had legally backed up without
Yes.
circumventing DRM. Yeah.
I
But
remember
no, it was great.
My wife got me a PSP, and I still have it. It still works, and I still will every now and again go watch Hidden Dragon, Crouching Tiger. What was the name?
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
That was the movie that she bought for me on there.
Oh, wow.
I remember, I got it, and then we got on a plane, and I actually watched that movie on a plane, and it was like the coolest thing in the world. And then everybody on the plane is looking at me watching a movie, because this is still pretty early back. That wasn't a regular thing for people. So I was like the cool guy sitting in the airport lounge, and then of course on the plane as everybody walks by, I was like, "Are you watching Hidden Dragon?"
You're like, "Yes, I've watched it 10 times in a row."
Are you playing
the only movie I have?
God of War on your in a handheld? Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Getting a PSP from your sister as a present, that's pretty impressive.
That's a bond. That cements a bond for a couple of years.
Or it's making up for something.
Well, so it was released. Crouching Tiger was released
It
in
re-cements a bond for many years.
in 2000.
Yeah, it was the first movie Eileen and I saw when we were dating.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I knew that story. That's cute. So yeah, definitely the days where, I mean, in 2000, I didn't have Wi-Fi in my house. No, 2000. Definitely not.
No, I don't know if I
Not
did
yet.
yet.
I didn't. I didn't for a few years after.
Oh
that.
no, I did because I had one of those Linksys routers. We kept hacking on screensavers, so I had like a floating one.
Of course. Okay, Rob Dunewood, it is your turn. You going to go memory or are you going to go wish for the future?
I'm going to go memories. So initially I was going to pick the TI-99 4A, but since Brian picked that, I will go something else. But I will say that is probably the best gift I've ever gotten because it helped me build the career that I now have. And also it may be the oldest piece of tech that I own that still works. I've actually got it and it's still operational. It still works. So I'll give that my honorable mention. But the best Christmas, my favorite Christmas that I remember is like, man, everything that Santa Claus said he was going to bring me, he brought me. That was 1980. I was 8 years old. And so we'll start off with the thing that I wanted most. It was the Green Machine. That was, for those who don't know, the Green Machine is basically a big, it's like a drag car big wheel. But instead of the front wheel turning, it actually has rear wheel steering. And instead of a steering wheel, you've got two control sticks. You push forward to the right, you turn left, you push forward to the left, you turn right. Or that could be backwards. It's 40 years ago. I can't remember, but it was an epic toy. That thing, my granddad actually went out and cleared the driveway. He has it, he's a landscaper and, it had a construction company. So he literally just pulled out the backhoe and went and just did, the driveway because they had a very, very long driveway. So I'm out and, it's snowing hard, but, I was able to play with that thing on Christmas morning. It was so fun. So that was the first toy. The next toy that I got also the same year, it wasn't the year it came out, but it was the year that I got it. It was the Big Track. I don't know if you guys.
I had one of those.
The Big Track essentially was a robotic battle tank. It was a little robot that you would program to go, 10 feet to the right, turn some degrees to the left, and you could program this thing to literally traverse your house. So I had the Big Track. I also had the trailer.
I remember
behind it. The trailer that came behind it that you could actually put stuff in and it would take it off. And it was basically the trailer was like a dump trailer. So you could put something in it. It would go to where your coordinates and it would drop whatever off. And so once I was freezing and had to come in because of riding the Green Machine, the Big Track is what we played with next. And then the third toy that I got was this little thing called a Rubik's Cube. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that.
Maybe.
Being facetious, arguably one of the most popular toys of all time. But that was, I think it was, I can't remember if the Rubik's Cube came out in 80 or maybe it came out in 79, but I got one Christmas of 80 because I will never forget that Christmas. I was 8 years old. I was actually at my grandparents', to celebrate it. And I got 3 iconic toys that year.
The Big Track I remember because I wanted an RC car. And my dad was at Toys R Us with me. It's like, no, you're going to get this instead. It's like, why? I want an RC car. But it's like, no, it's good. It's educational.
Like, this is better.
This is better. Well, it's effectively logo, right? Like, so if you ever program with logo, that's what you did with the Big Tracks. And it was kind of cool because you would say like you do 4 up, 3 to the right, and then 2 more up, and then it would traverse that. And then you could set it so it would do like this little attack run where a little LED light blue light would flash in the front, and it would spin around to indicate that that was his attack mode. But I remember bringing it to my cousin's house, and my cousins were like at least 5. One was 3, the other one was 5 years older than me, and everyone wanted to I want to program it, because it was kind of neat to input something and then see the results. Much like if you're programming in BASIC or any other computer language, it kind of led you to think, well, if I wanted to make it from here to the dining room, you would plot out how many spaces or how many movement cycles it would need to get to that spot. And it was really cool. I mean, I kind of broke it because I left the batteries in too long, and back then batteries just sort of, once the acid finished generating electricity through the housing. But it was fun. I think
it was definitely a fun toy. And here's what I remember: it was a really, really good toy. We did have an unfortunate accident with it, with a pet who knocked it down the stairs. And I loved that thing so much because it was broken. It was not fixable at that point. My parents actually bought me another one. And that may be the only toy that I can think of that they bought me another one, because I didn't break it. The dog broke it. But the thing is, and I remember my mom telling me, this was it was a good toy for you, but it was a good toy for us, because in order for you to play with it, you had to have the house clean. It's like, hey, I don't want to see any shoes on the floor. I don't want to see any book bags laying around. If you want to play with your big track, you have to go clean up. So, and then I would want to vacuum.
No wonder they bought you another one.
The cracks on the carpet. That was cool. So, and it was information that helped me determine, I came this far. I need to go a little bit further. So you would go back and reprogram to get it around the house. So I actually used the tracks across the carpet, because we had that thick carpet that when this thing ran over it, it would actually brush the carpet one way. I used that to actually help me to, program what I was going to do next, and, remember, all the steps that I was going into. So I absolutely loved that toy. And then, the Rubik's Cube, that's no explanation there. The Rubik's Cube is just an awesome toy of all time.
Yeah.
I used to peel the stickers off of mine
and then put it back
and
on.
then say to my mom, look, I solved it. And she's like,
you didn't break it apart like I did?
Yeah, I would break it apart.
It was all stickers.
Because you could pop them off the tracks and then pop them back on.
Yeah.
Well, because I got so frustrated, because I'm like,
they made different sizes. They made ones on the
4,
keychain.
So.
And then you buy the little book. You remember they sold all those solving the Rubik's Cube books.
Yeah, no, that was probably years later, but I do remember getting a book and was like, oh, wait a minute, this is just an algorithm. You can do the same thing, and eventually you're going to solve it.
You're like, wait, it's like programming a big track.
1980. That is those are the fondest memories. Like I said, the best gift ever was that TI-99 4A. Mm-hmm. That I learned how to program. Actually, I learned how to start programming on that big track. And I got this a few years later, and that's where computers became a thing for me. But that Christmas, like I said, I was 8, and man, it was. I mean, and the fact that my granddad got up and actually plowed like 170-foot driveway with a, he didn't use an excavator. I think he used his cat. So what was that? The backhoe.
Oh,
and just
wow.
out the driveway, because we probably had
10,
12 inches of snow on the ground. You cannot ride a green machine on snow. That is not going to work. So he plowed the driveway for me so I could ride that thing on Christmas.
Dang.
I had a big wheel, and I was jealous when David Branson up the street got a green machine. I was like, oh man. All right, Jason, do you have a tech memory for us?
Yeah, definitely have a tech memory. So, and it's interesting when I think about this, because, music is a big part of my life, and I'm pretty sure that this is kind of the germ that kind of led to, the rest of my life being so focused on music. But probably the first keyboard I ever got, this may have been a Christmas gift, but I don't explicitly remember it being a Christmas gift, although I think it probably was a small little keyboard by Casio called the Casio PT87. And it was really this tiny little, maybe 2.5 octave keyboard where you could put these cassettes in, and each cassette had like 4 or 5 different like songs of a particular theme. So you might have a holiday, or you might have like pop music, and it would have, like Michael Jackson and Prince, or I don't know what the songs were on it. And basically it was like you could play a single note at a time, and a light would light up on the keyboard so that you could play along with the accompaniment and learn the song, right? That was like my intro, and I think that probably was a Christmas gift. But the memory that I have is at least a couple of years later. Because I used to love, and tell me if you all did this back in the day, but I used to love to go to the mall, the shopping mall, and find the keyboard shop. Because in our mall, there was like a dark kind of dungeon, like elegantly dungeon-like store for really high-end keyboards and pianos and electric keyboards and stuff. And I would go in there, and they all had a little headphone thing hanging on the side of them. And I put on the headphones, and I'd play around with these high-end, I'd never be able to afford them style keyboards. They just sounded so good, and I just wanted one so bad. Well, at our local Fred Meyer, which is kind of like a Target, that sort of thing back in the day, they had an electronics area, and they had some keyboards in there, definitely not of that caliber, but they had this one keyboard called the Yamaha PSS 480. And this was like around 1988. And yes, it was your standard kind of, it had a couple of stereo speakers, 4 or 5 octaves, whatever. All tons of presets. I think it had like 100, like 200 total presets on it, and a drum section, a digital drum section. What made it special is that it had this whole area that was about synthesis. And so it had a 2-operator FM synthesis engine, which essentially means that you can shape your own sounds, and you could store them in like one of like 10 areas. They were really rough, really like gritty and buzzy, that sort of stuff. And I would go into Fred Meyer's and I would play around with that all the time. And man, I wanted that so bad. $200 at the time, 98. If you factored that out, it's somewhere in the $500 range now, I think. Asked for it for Christmas, did not expect to get it at all, but boy, did I want it. And I think, like you, Sarah, I think if my parents probably did the same thing, because it's totally something that my dad would do. Is like, yeah, don't get your hopes up, kid. Don't get your hopes up. It's not going to happen. And I remember that Christmas morning going out to the living room, and all the presents are out under the tree, and we actually have this on video somewhere, on video cassette. And we open all the presents, and it was a fine Christmas and everything like that. And it was a total Christmas story moment where I like looked over, and right on the other side of the fireplace, not obvious, but obvious enough, was this tiny little corner of a box hidden behind this pillow that was over there. I was like, wait a minute. I recognized that box, and I went over there and threw off the pillow, and sure enough, it was the Yamaha PSS 480, and I freaked out. And
it wasn't even wrapped. It was just...
No, it was not wrapped. It was just
he's
out.
He's going to love it. Don't even bother.
Exactly. It was like, we're just going to make it a special kind of like realization. And I don't know how I didn't notice it before, but when I did, I just freaked out, and oh boy, did I play that thing all the friggin' time. And now when I think about it, I'm like, oh, well, that kind of started me down this path of not just playing music, but also kind of understanding on a deeper level what it's like to work with the elements to create sounds and all that kind of stuff. Synthesis, basically. So, yeah, it was a pretty special Christmas memory for me.
So here's my question. Did you actually find the gift there, or did your dad say, hey, what's that over there? Right after you were able to take off the pink bunny suit.
I'm now thankfully I didn't get a pink bunny suit that Christmas. I'm now remembering the video, and I'm playing the video in my head, and it was my sister. So my sister obviously knew, because she's the one that was like, oh, hey, Jason, what is that? And I looked over, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, what is that? So she was in on it, apparently.
That's fun.
Yeah. Pretty cool stuff.
I remember those keyboards, but I remember them at the Macy's downtown in Union Square in San Francisco, because they used so anyone who was not familiar with the Macy's in San Francisco downtown, there was 2 separate buildings. One was the Macy's, and the other one was the men's department. And so you had to cross the street to get into the men's department. Yeah. And then on the third or fourth floor was like the electronics. So that was where the video games were, the computers, and the keyboards. And so they didn't have headphones, so they politely asked that you turn it down as you were sampling their wares.
Testing.
But I remember there was just like a bunch of old, like middle-aged guys in there, like testing out the different rhythm parts. Like I assume they were in some sort of like after
Jason's
work.
dad
After
flew
work
from
band or
Idaho
something.
specifically.
But I used to think like these things are so expensive. Like, is this like? I mean, who buys these?
Yeah.
This thing's like $500. That would be like $1 million to me when I was like in 4th grade. It's like, who can afford this stuff?
That was the funny thing about department stores back then, is that there was always an electronics department. And so, I mean, sometimes, my mom drops me off at the mall, usually not by myself, but, whatever. And I never left the electronics section.
No,
That's
me
the
too.
only thing
Yeah,
I
me
wanted
neither.
to do. And I didn't even really need to buy them because I'm like, I just played with it
Just
all
play,
day.
yeah. You find the
Totally.
the Atari demo or the Intellivision
Yeah.
demo.
Yeah.
And like, no one's
I-
kicking you out. They're like, oh, that kid, she's
Yeah.
harmless.
Well,
Let her
it's
play.
the kids, and they make the sales reps make money on sales, so it doesn't matter. Like as long as
Yeah.
you're not breaking anything. They
Well, and the
don't care.
kids showing off how the thing works
Yeah.
for people passing by, so that's not necessarily
that, and it's like, look how happy these kids. They could
Yeah,
be your
yeah.
kids, so you should
Would
buy
you like
this
to buy the
Sega
kid?
Masters. No, I was because the Sega, had this very elaborate setup. So they had like the 4 consoles. So they had one with the light gun, which was Bug Hunt, and then they had like Alex
Jones.
No, it was like something. It was like a, it was
Alex
like a little
Kidd.
ninja-
Alex
Alex
Kidd
Kidd
in
in Miracle
yeah.
World, and then they had
Miracle
Shinobi, and like you could just play them all. And
Yep.
there were just the rows of kids, and it was
Yep.
like a perfect testament to the amount of love and affection you could buy from children if you bought one of these.
Yeah, the Sega Master System. I
Yes,
would go into
not even the Genesis
our,
was the Master System.
Yeah, it's the Master System, and I would go into our video rental store because you used to rent videotapes and decks, and they had one of those set up, and I would go there and I would play Alex.
And guess what? Nintendo had only 1 unit available that anyone could test, but Sega had like 3. So obviously there was definitely like, hey, we get more exposure if we get more kids to play.
Jason, do
Sega
you know-
does what Nintendo don't, by the way. Just saying.
Yep. Do you know what happened to the Yamaha?
Do you
remember?
I looked. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what happened. If it's gone, it's a shame. Although I could pick one up for like $100, but I don't know. It never seems like the high priority. But I have looked for it at my parents' house and it's not there. So it's possible that it, that I either got rid of it, assuming stupidly that I'll never actually want this once it
This
was
is old now.
beat
I
by
need-
something
yeah.
else.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. But
This
I do wish
sounds
that I still had it. Even though the sounds were really archaic and really
I know,
very
but
lo-fi,
but that's the thing though, right? It's like
That's
a
the beauty of it.
harmonica. When you hear a harmonica in a movie soundtrack, it automatically like, oh, is this movie from the 70s? If it sounds like a sax, is this from the 80s? Like it automatically cements sort of a time period, right? There's certain like an electronic bass on the synth. Very, very much 80s, right? Because that's all you've ever heard through, like whether it was a movie, like it was either like
Beverly Hills
what's
Cop.
his name? Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop,
Axel
or
F.
Chuck-
Yeah.
or something like involving the city, right? Something urban that would always have electric bass in it.
Yes, cool. And I would say that my bonus, and I'll just throw this out there just because it jogged my memory when you were talking, Rob, was laser tag. That was another one that one Christmas
nice.
I got laser tag with the big like plastic sensor thing and
the chest thing.
I can even hear that getting.
When I was a kid,
awesome.
I was trying to look for a photon. That was like the original Genesis was like it was not an arcade, but it was like a play center, and you played photon, and you would have the whole thing with the gear. You would have the chess piece, and then you'd have the little light gun, and then you would run around in this very elaborate maze system trying to shoot the opposing team.
Yep.
Well, folks, we know some of you may have gotten a little extra cash or even a gift certificate or of some kind for the holidays. So if you're looking for some stuff that will support the show, we still got a whole store. In fact, the Len Peralta holiday art is still up there. You can still get those. You can get the DTNS pint glass. You can get my book Synced. So go check it out. There are great gifts and a great way to support the show. dailytechnewsshow.com/store.
All right, Tom Merritt, it's your turn. Are we going Christmas past or Christmas future?
I'm going Christmas past as well. I feel like that's what everybody's doing today. I think it's interesting that, Sarah, your gift was like very video centric and kind of pointed towards your career. Robb's was very computer oriented, pointed towards his career. Jason's was musical, pointed towards his career in music. I don't know that this one points towards my career, but I've told other Christmas gift stories so much. I wanted to try to tell one I hadn't. My dad got me the TI-30 calculator for Christmas because he was using it for work and I kept taking it. I would grab the computer and I would like play with the memory. It came with a thing for reading biorhythms. I don't think I have that card anymore. So I would like do my mom's biorhythm to tell her, what her strength was. And so he was like, you know what? You keep taking my TI-30. I need it for work. So I'm just going to buy you one. And I was super excited to get it. I was like, oh my gosh, I got my, really? I have my own? I don't have to borrow yours anymore? I didn't even think at the time because I was a kid. I was like, I didn't think like, oh no, it's my dad selfishly was like, I need to get my calculator back from my kid. But yeah, I still have, I don't know if this is my dad's or mine, to be honest, because they just, kind of got thrown in a drawer at some point. But I used to do all kinds of stuff with this thing because it had memory and, you could spell things upside down with it and all of that. So very TI heavy, I know, with the TI-99 from Robb and our listener earlier. But this was like, I don't know, 1978, something like that.
I mean, you said
did they have the red letters?
Yeah, they had the red LEDs.
Yeah.
And the denim carrying case. Very stylish.
I mean,
which you still have?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I mean, it's reflective of how big TI's impact on the tech.
I thought you were going to say it's reflective of how much of a hourder Tom is, but yes.
Oh no, but
like
TI chips were in.
Why not both?
like some of the first EGA VGA cards had TI chips in them. Because that's who that was like the cutting edge of silicon semiconductor fabrication was from TI.
I mean, Tom, you mentioned you don't know how much this translates into your current career, but you're very fond of all things data. You're very good at payroll, so thank you for that.
Well, actually, our accountant Rena does the payroll. I just pressed the send button, but thank you.
Yeah, I'm reaching a little bit, but that calculator definitely that precedes my first TI calculator, but
it was playing around with gadgets, right? I think that's what it presages. Is like, it's not so much what I could do with it. Like I would press the cosine button just to watch it do a little dance while it processed the cosine. I had no idea at the time.
For no reason.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about trigonometry at the time, but I just loved to play around with it and see what it could do.
Yeah, I never had that TI calculator. My dad actually is a tool and die maker, and when he got into tool and die, I think it was like the year I was born, so 72. My grandfather got him an HP 35 calculator, and I remember that thing was a tank. He may have had multiple of them because it was something that he used, at his job. But I just remember how cool that thing was. Now, my dad was not getting me an HP 35. Those things were probably a couple $100.
Isn't that what Wozniak would hack around on too? It was one of the HP calculators.
Yeah, so it was. They were not expensive. My first TI calculator, I think I got probably around the 11th grade or something, and that's when they actually started doing the graphing LCD calculators.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember these because they had the bright red lights on them. I just thought they were so cool.
Yeah.
My dad had something very similar, and he moved from using slide rules to that. And I remember it's like, wouldn't it be cool
for my dad?
If you could have an entire display of just those red LEDs? That'd be so cool. You could type up papers, and I was just imagining like what the future would hold. Like this is magic.
All right, Roger, let's go to your reminiscence or look to the future.
Let me reminisce and keep in the tone with everyone else. One is not that old. It's only about 7 years ago. I picked up a Synology NAS, or rather got a Synology NAS for the holidays. And this
a good childhood memory, the Synology NAS.
but this is the thing. This really kind of weeded out the data hoarding in me. Like I started becoming more selective. And it's because initially, because it's only 2 bays, if you want any sort of data backup, you have to mirror the drive. So I only had 2 4 terabyte drives. So I was very selective about what I stored on it. But I upgraded to 2 12s, and now I have lots of space because I don't keep everything. But I found it to be very, very handy because in case of an emergency, I know where that is. I just unplug it and take it with me.
Yeah, and just
then
grab it.
Yeah.
That's smart.
But the one that really set me on the path of what I do today is the Tandy 2000. Now, this was an old Radio Shack computer, and this is interesting because it was MS-DOS compatible, but not PC compatible, and I'll explain why. It had an Intel 186, not a 286, a 186 chip. There's some integers in there that are not available on the 8086, although the 8086 was actually faster than the 186. And it had 2 high-density 720K 5 1/4 floppies. As long as it ran in MS-DOS, it would sort of work on that. But if it needed hardware compatibility with a PC, it kind of flunked out. But I remember spending an entire year just playing with that thing. Didn't have a graphics adapter, so the only thing I could play on it was Infocom games. So I played a lot of Zork. I remembered writing a lot of batch commands. I remember trying to figure out how to get a word processor on there because it came with a printer, but it wasn't a dot matrix printer. It was a daisy wheel printer, so no graphics on that either. So it was very limiting, and eventually I upgraded to a Tandy 1000. But I remembered just being awestruck. I have this machine, has a green monochrome screen. It beeps when you turn it on, and it had expansion slots, which only used specific expansion boards from Radio Shack, which I never bought. But it's fun. I still have it in my garage. Although I haven't turned it on in about 20 years.
Go get it.
Oh, not this garage. The garage up in Northern California.
We'll just go get it.
That'll take a little longer. But we'll wait.
Take a few hours.
I'm in Northern California. I'll go get it for you.
Yeah, Jason, thanks.
And then just you got a good arm, right? It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll just throw it over. Just throw it to the window.
But it was, I remember looking up at the catalog at all the things I wanted to upgrade. There was a memory expansion, there was a graphics expansion so you could do graphics, and then there was a light pen expansion so you could attach a light pen and then you could draw on the screen with it. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I didn't do any of that because it was very expensive. But just the idea that there was that potential was so astounding to me. And I kind of just got hooked on computers from that point on.
Not a TRS-80, a Tandy 2000.
Well, it had TRS on the freaking faceplate, but next to the Tandy nameplate.
Yeah, that's
and
funny.
it's weird because Tandy started out as a leather company that eventually bought Radio Shack, and then they started doing the computers. But that was their bread and butter through the 90s, was doing computers.
A leather company?
Yeah, just like ColecoVision.
Belts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did belts, boots, purses.
Oh, wow.
Saddlebags.
Quite a pivot.
Nokia was a rubber boot company. Nintendo was a playing card company.
Coleco started out as the Connecticut leather company before they made Cabbage Patch dolls in the ColecoVision.
Samsung started as salted fish or something. Yeah.
But,
all right. Good stuff, Roger. Thank you for that. Before we finish up, let's hear from a few more of you who kindly shared your memories and hopes.
Hey everyone, this is Bill Russell, and I wasn't sure if you wanted us to say our names or not, so you can cut that if you would like. But the one Christmas gift that I got that I still wish I had was a computerized chessboard. And it was a neat device that you would just press your piece down and the computer would register it, and then you go and press it where the piece is supposed to go, and then it would register where that piece went. And then the computer would tell you where to move its pieces. Well, me being an elementary kid and really interested in electronics, decided I want to see what it looks like on the inside because I bet it looks really cool. So I take it apart, I cut the data ribbon, and that was the last time she worked. And that was probably 30 years ago. maybe a little bit over 30 years ago, and I still remember that thing today. Merry Christmas, everyone.
BA on the best tech gift I ever got. This was probably when I was 8 or 9 years old. It was a gift from my mother. I woke up on Christmas morning and found a wrapped present that was roughly the shape of a book. On unwrapping it, I found a plank of wood on which she had written in Sharpie, Mom. I was very confused about this and thought it was a gag gift. She was a bit more techie than I was at the time. I eventually found out that it was a motherboard that she had replaced in my computer and set my computer back exactly how it was. This was a 386 or 486 at the time. I was the kind of kid who had this desktop computer running mostly DOS, maybe 3.1 at the time, instead of a Nintendo or any other console at the time. She had taken it to the computer shop, upgraded the motherboard, which I think they upgraded the CPU, maybe the memory as well. But this was back in the day where I still remember now, you could tell a difference in processor speed by hearing the frequency of it spinning up when you first power on the computer. And there was nothing like that sound of the high-pitched spin up of my machine with a brand new processor in it on Christmas morning. Thanks, everyone.
Motherboard from Mom. Also hilarious writing Mom on the board.
Those are cool gifts.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I can only imagine Benjamin being like, wait a second. I know what you just did. Yay!
I mean,
That's
I
very
remember.
creative.
I definitely remember the wine because back then you set the speeds with crystals on the motherboard for the old 8086 and then 286. So
Yep.
if you were young and your hearing wasn't damaged because you were driving with the window down all the time, you could definitely notice it.
So, folks, we you probably thought we were done.
Oh no,
but we are not. We are not. You know why we're not? Because we've actually got some more submissions from our listeners. But this time, our listeners are actually joining us live on the show. So let's kick things off with Brad. And Brad, tell us about your holiday memory.
Hey, Brad.
Thanks for having me on. Probably the most memorable tech I remember getting for Christmas would be the Sega Genesis. And the only reason even that just stays in my mind, I have memory issues. So that just stays in my mind because my brother got, the first Atari, the what is it, the 2600 and all that. And my brother's was 6 years older than me, so he always got all the cool stuff, but not this year. This year, I beat him. I got the Sega Genesis. It was the best, hands down. That was probably the most memorable tech that I got. Later on, much further down the line, my wife at the time surprised me with a Palm Pre.
Oh,
and she thought cell phones would never go anywhere. They would never do anything.
Yeah.
So,
but she was like, Brad won't stop talking about it. This will be a nice gift.
Exactly.
Brad, please tell me that you had Tecmo Bowl on that.
Oh, that was the first game I got was Tecmo Bowl on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, for those of you who are too young to know anything other than Madden, it was Tecmo Bowl in the late 80s and in the early 90s until Madden came. Madden took over when it came out, but Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo, those were the games on the Sega Genesis. It made the whole system worth it.
Wasn't Tecmo Bowl? Yeah. I always associated Tecmo Bowl to Nintendo. I didn't realize it was
on Nintendo as well, but it was on Sega Genesis.
I just thought it was like
my
Nintendo
better on the Genesis than it was on the
and my graphics had 8 more bits, so they were better.
I mean, it originally started. I think it started out on the NES, but like when the Genesis came out, it's like, well, you're not going to leave money on the table.
Heck no.
You're going to port it.
Yeah, we did that and Star Fox and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Do you still have the Palm Pre?
So after a long military career, all of that stuff is gone.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, gone.
No
so
worries.
I wish.
Yeah.
I can still imagine me flipping the front, pushing it up to get to the keyboard. And I was like, and the WebOS is still great. WebOS is still a great operating system.
I use it every day on my LG TV. I agree.
Same with me.
Yeah.
Every so often it's like, want to update? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, if you keep tech like that around for too long, you become contractually obligated to become a podcaster like us. So,
Yes, so you dodged a bullet
in our
there.
contract. We have if we kept the tech. We got to talk about it.
Yep. I feel it.
Well, Brad, thank you for sharing that memory. We have another memory. This one's coming from Gary, aka Senior Geek. Welcome back, Gary, friend of the show. I don't know if this is actually a memory or a wish. So, what are you going with?
Well, everybody's been going with memories, so I'll stick with the I'll stick with that. I actually I'm a little older than you guys, so the first Christmas present I remember that was just it blew me away was we would, when I was 9 or 10, which was late 50s, we would have Christmas morning at our house, and then we would drive to my grandparents' house, and then we'd have a gift exchange there. And I walked in, and there was an unwrapped gift just sort of up against the wall behind the tree, and it was like I could see rockets, and I was fascinated by the Mercury 7 and everything that was going on. It didn't even occur to me that I was the only one of my cousins and siblings that would be interested in something like that. I didn't dare think that that was for me, but it was. And it was one of the best gifts I ever got. And I don't remember playing with it that much because it didn't really do that much. But it did have an electric motor in it, so I guess it...
And what was it? It was like a rocket simulator of some kind?
Yeah. It was like little plastic rockets, and there was a little cart that went across, and you could put a rocket on it and move it over, and then put it down on a little spring-loaded launching pad.
Oh, cool!
And it'd go like 6 inches in the air, and it goes. 1950s toy, yeah.
Kids like things like that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, eventually my dad and I were designing, building, and flying our own model rockets. Estes Industries. But then taking a giant leap forward after my daughter was born, Debbie and I gave each other the full-size VHS shoulder mount camera, and I used that for several years, and then. Sarah, you may recognize this, except this isn't a Hi8, it's a digital 8.
Okay.
So a 2-hour tape would hold 1 hour of digital data, had still has a FireWire interface. I don't have anything to plug it into anymore. So I'm thinking of seeing if I can sell it on eBay.
I have a FireWire cable for you.
Yeah. We just need somewhere to plug it.
I have two, actually.
Well, I don't know. Are there FireWire to USB-C adapters?
I bet there are.
Oh, yeah.
I bet there are.
Yeah, there are dongles for pretty much everything.
There's a dongle for everything out there.
There really is. Amazon Essentials or Amazon Basics, whatever they call them.
Kind of messed Roger up because I sent him a list, and so I will mention the TRS-80 Model 3. That was my first home computer, and that led to me. Eventually, I was on a patent application. I was going to be 1/5 owner of a patent, but the company decided not to pursue it. But I was showing you guys this 8-inch floppy here.
Yeah. Before the show, you were showing us that.
Well, at one time, I'm sure.
Gary is not very small. That is a large floppy disk. It's an 8-inch, not a 5 1/4.
That is DPOS 9. It's a real-time process control program. For vapor deposition of thin films on visors for helicopter pilots, so that it would just block laser frequencies and nothing else. And while we were working on that, somebody else came up with a better way to do it, so they didn't pursue the patent. But I think that this is one of the proudest things I've ever done. I got out the listing of the BASIC that I wrote it in. I can't read it. It's it is complete Greek to me now, but I did write that.
Whole different era, whole different language.
No kidding.
So, but yeah, I mean, the one Christmas present I remember was that stupid little rocket toy. But once I discovered it only shot at about 6 inches into the air.
It probably felt a lot taller when you were that small, right?
Well, yeah. So I was, it would have been when I was 9, 10, 11. It was about the time of the Mercury shots. And
well, and you mentioned going to grandparents' house, so there's cousins around. That could have been for anybody, but it was for you.
No, of the 5 cousins and my 3 siblings, I was the only one that had any interest in space at all. So, I should have known that was for me, but it was really exciting.
Well, Gary, thank you for sharing your memory with us as well. Good to see you again. If folks want to follow you, you're still doing Senior Geek stuff, right?
Oh yeah. Diary of a Senior Geek is on Substack. I'm trying to write a column a week. They've been getting way too political recently, but I'm hoping that I can move on from that.
Sign of the times.
For the holiday season, I've just been reposting some of my favorite columns from the past.
Oh, cool.
But I'll be getting back to original columns in the new year.
Fantastic. And then Brad, if you ever hear us say thanks to Brad at the beginning of the show, this is Brad. Thank you, Brad, for supporting the show.
And I always say Brad.
2 Ds.
2 Ds, Brad.
That's right. Double D. My mom stutters. It's okay.
Brad, I don't know if there's anything you want to tell folks about, if it's something you do or you just want to give a wish or whatever, but
I wish everybody to use passkeys. Stop using passwords. That
very
is my
nice
wish to everybody else.
Fantastic. And Brad, thank you very much for your support of the show as well.
Absolutely.
Very much appreciated. Joe, turn your camera on. This is the last show of the year. Amos popped back in here. So we want to let people see your face. Thank you, Joe. There's Joe. He's always behind the scenes. Woo. Thank you, Roger, for putting all this stuff together all year.
Yay.
Thank you, Amos. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Rob.
Continue into the future.
That is it for today's show. Thanks, everyone, for supporting us all year long at patreon.com/DTNS and DTNS.substack.com or wherever you supported us. We hope you're having a happy holidays, and we will be back with live episodes on January 2nd.
Indeed, we will. But until then, we have a lot of fun shows for you coming up. This Friday, that's our gift support show, packed with troubleshooting tips for your new tech gifts. Hopefully you got everything that you wanted this year. And all next week, our holiday programming continues. We got a Best of 2025 show on Monday, our 2025 predictions results show on Tuesday, and our tech predictions for 2026 on Wednesday. We do a lot of predicting. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're less right. Tell a friend or a family member to watch or listen with you.
This year's episodes of Daily Tech News Show were created by the following people: host, producer, and writer Tom Merritt, producer and host Sarah Lane, host and writer Jason Howell, host Robb Dunewood, co-host Jen Cutter, co-host Wentway Dow, producer Roger Chang, producer Anthony Amos, producer Hammond Chamberlain, producer Victor Bognot, video producer Joe Kuntz, contributing producers Kevin Tech, Noel Cow, and Brandon Richards, science correspondent Dr. Nikki Ackermans, contributor Andy Beach, contributor Bodie Grimm, social media producer and moderator Zoe Detterding, our mods Beatmaster, W. Scottus One, BioCow, Captain Kipper, Steve Guadarrama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, aka Gadget Virtuoso, and J.D. Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music provided by Martin Bell and Dan Luters. Art by Len Peralta. Acast ad support from Tatiana Matias and Patreon support from Bobby Wagner. And thank you, patrons. You are the bosses who make the show possible. Have a great rest of your year and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.